All right. So, as an amateur podcaster, video, whatever this is, I forgot to record an intro for Brian, which, I was too excited and I just wanted to talk to him. So, I have my first guest. So, you will have a little bit of an audio change if you're listening to this on audio, or a wardrobe change if you're watching me on video. But I, got too excited and forgot to record the intro. So here I am merging it together. So you will also notice a change in audio because on my first episode, I did not realize that my microphone was backwards. So it's a learning curve. And, you can't. I saw a really great quote that you can't have a great 50th episode if you don't do a first average episode. So bear with me. It is worth listening to my crackly audio because Brian is so interesting. So my first guest is Brian Jarvis from Toronto, Canada. And Brian has been an educator. He's worked behind the chair. He's worked on cruise ships. He moved to Thailand. He has now opened his own salon and had a lot of success in that. He works on ET Canada, so Entertainment Tonight, doing TV shows and all kinds of stuff for them. So I thought this is a perfect person who, one, is just so nice and easy to chat with. And I thought, who can I feel comfortable getting the nervous butterflies out with? And I knew it would be him. So we arranged a Zoom call between Canada and Australia to sit down and talk about how Brian has had success in this industry. So I hope that you bear with me through the technical troubles of my first episode, but it will be worth it. And I promise you that it gets better the more episodes we'll have. So without further ado, pop us in to myself and Brian talking shit. Anyway. Okay.
Okay, no, wait.
Okay. Okay, we stop recording. I only think about myself, really. Okay. So we are back and recording. So
hello.
This is my first official chat with my first official friend. So I'm so excited. I couldn't think of a more perfect person to have on this with me. I was like, who is going to make me feel comfortable and like have good banter with me and like keep it going and turn their video off and their audio. Who is going to arrive 50 minutes late to my first recording? Brian.
And I had the whole day off. And I
nothing all day.
I did nothing all day. And I'm still late. Showing up to something in my own house.
Oh my God. I love it.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Perfect, because I have nowhere to be and nothing to do. I'm back in this spare room. I've literally like billowed the walls with like duvet covers and stuff to try and muffle my sound.
Soundproof? Nice.
Rookie.
I banished the boyfriend and the dog to the bedroom so I could have like...
This looks great behind you, this setup.
Thanks.
Love
this
it.
Is usually our dining room wall.
Oh.
And by dining room, I mean I live in a teeny tiny condo, so like the whole room.
This is my entire apartment.
This is my dining room wall, my kitchen wall, my living room wall.
My bathroom.
And my bathroom. I'm sitting on the toilet right now.
Oh, I'm dead. Okay. So the point of me having these conversations and what I wanted to get out of it was essentially for myself. And then I was like, I might as well give to some other people too. So I thought, I have always been interested in the business side of hairdressing, how you progress from being behind the chair into education or TV, and you are like the prime candidate of this doing. So I just wanted to, while I have the time and I'm at home and I have time to reconnect with people in other countries, like I'm in Australia, you're in Canada, and we can make this work when normally we're too busy to do it. And I just thought, I want to ask people how they've done it and if they're happy with their decisions and, how they became successful. So I thought that you were a prime candidate for this
Thank you.
conversation.
I was so flattered when you asked.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm just glad you said yes. I've asked 50 other people and they didn't say yes. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I have a whole day of interviews to go.
So we gotta go.
Yeah. So you know how you're 50 minutes late? Time to chicken. I'm just kidding. Okay, well, maybe just start a little bit of background because, like, you know, if people don't know you, shocking, but I don't know. But, you know, like how long you've been in the industry, how you maybe got in the industry, what a little snippet of you.
So when we like pre-talked about like doing this and the idea of it, I was quite nervous about what I was going to talk about because when I look back on my career and everything that's happened, I feel like I have a horseshoe up my ass, to be honest with you. Like everything just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, how am I going to convince you and everybody else that I worked my ass off to get here when I feel so privileged and
yeah. How
lucky,
nice that's how you feel anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, even the start, I think also, and back when I used to teach, and I don't know if this is maybe the appropriate thing to say anymore, but I used to say all the time, you can teach a monkey to cut hair.
Which, you know, you did teach me. For those of you who don't know, Brian was my cutting educator.
And now she does mostly color. I'm kidding.
But that's funny. So if anyone, that's how I know Brian. Brian used to teach me cutting like 8 years ago or something.
So during teaching, I was saying you could teach a monkey to cut hair, but it takes that oomph to be a hairstylist.
Yeah.
Like, and I find that's the difference in everybody's creativity level.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, unfortunately, in good haircuts and bad haircuts, and good hair color and bad hair color.
You're saying the personality?
X factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the personality and the X factor. It's a craft. It's a talent. So, I mean, like I said, you can teach a monkey to cut hair because you can teach a basic haircut to anybody.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not you have that oomph to take it somewhere to the next level or be that successful with it.
Yes. And I think something that I have only recently reflected on, I don't know what I'm holding. It's like a nail. I don't know where that came from. It's weird.
Grabbing things that I have over here. Yeah, so like anyways.
But what, I don't know, I'm still holding it. What I have been thinking about is that I think that there are people who are hairdressers who are so content and love going to work, doing their clients, working for somebody else, and going home, and they love that. And for me, I always was watching being like, don't you want to be on stage? Don't you want to be doing photo shoots? Don't you want to be going to education or around the world? Like, how are you just so happy with that? And me being like, oh, they're not even that passionate about it, or they don't like it as much as I do. And that's not true, but that's just not my story. And these are the people I want to talk to of, you know, that's not what your story is either. And that wasn't going to be enough for you. Right?
And that's why I was so excited about this chat with you.
Amazing.
Because exactly what you just said is exactly how I have felt for so long, is that like when I was doing photo shoots back in the day with all of the team and all of that, it was when I would ask people, do you want to come? Do you want to do it? And people would say no. I would be like,
what do you mean?
What? What do you mean? No.
You don't want to work with me?
Yeah. Or even back when I was doing ET Canada before I officially joined the team, when I was doing it on behalf of the old salon, nobody else wanted to go.
Yes. Shocking.
Like they came back from a trip and it was like, will you go to ET Canada because nobody else really wants to go or can go? And I was like, what do you mean?
What else could you possibly be doing? That's more important.
How is everybody on staff not putting their hand up for this?
Yeah. So maybe explain what ET Canada is. I don't know.
So ET Canada is,
people will know. I'm not sure.
Entertainment Tonight, though?
I think so. Yeah, people should know
They'll
that.
know what that is.
Y'all should
Well,
know.
I mean, well, I feel like Entertainment Tonight is the bigger name. So Entertainment Tonight, ET Canada is Entertainment Tonight Canada, with yeah. So at the old salon, like I was saying, so we went on behalf. I just didn't understand that, Crystal. It just didn't make any sense to me. So I see, like you, I saw the opportunities in things, and I saw the potential in things. And I took every opportunity I could. So that's what I realized after saying that everything I felt lucky for. I don't know if it was luck because I said yes to everything.
You were just willing to do the work that other people
willing to do all. You never know where a day is going to take you.
100%.
So
I didn't realize that ET connection came from the old salon. I didn't. This is why I want to have these chats. I want to know how you did it. Amazing. Okay. So how long have you actually been in the industry now?
So I went to hair school in 2003.
Okay.
So 17 years. I know.
So you are very old.
I know.
Just kidding. But isn't it insane? I literally was writing down like just a bit about myself to try and have a bio and stuff. And I was like, I started working at the salon in the beauty industry 10 years ago. I still think I'm 23 years old. Like, how is that?
Well, that's a whole other podcast. Thinking that I think I'm 23 years old still. And I don't think that ever goes away. I think like when we do a 30-year anniversary of this podcast, we'll both be like, I still feel 23.
Wow. I love that you think this is going to continue. That's good. Okay. Yeah, but I feel like when I go to work or like anything, I'm like, oh, they're going to think I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so young, you know? But I've been doing this for 10 years and I love it. And I think that we are in the most amazing industry to progress, and anything that you want to do, if you are happy working behind the chair, that's incredible. If you are happy working in your one salon room in your house, amazing.
Totally.
But I just feel like...
So can I just speak on that for a second? Yeah. You saying that, taking that analogy and putting it into other aspects of life. I didn't grow up in Toronto.
Yeah.
So the people who just want to work behind I shouldn't say just want to work behind a chair. I don't mean like that.
The people who want for them, they love that.
Yes.
And that's
the
great.
People who want to work behind the chair, the people who want to do photo shoots, the people who want to do TV. It goes back to the people who, I look back at people who I went to high school with who left high school, got married, had a baby, and that was their life. So, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, only in the career. Like, it's like, that's what you wanted. That's your life. I used to be like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yes.
But they're happy. That's what makes you happy. And who am I to judge that?
That is literally
so I'm learning to just be like, I think you're insane, but I'm glad you're happy.
Yes. I think something that we can both relate and why we maybe have these perspectives is because we have moved and lived overseas, not just moved to Toronto for you. You used to live in Thailand, didn't you?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when you have those experiences, if that's in you, that feeling of wanting to move and wanting to travel, if you don't do that, it's going to eat you alive. Whereas I couldn't understand that there was people who didn't think that. Like, how could you not want to move to Australia?
Same with the Thailand thing. When people were like, oh my God, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. Well, you can. Yes. Just do it.
Yes, exactly. But now that I've been in it and I see exactly what you said, the people from high school who are married and have kids, and, you know, I'm over here like homeless half the time and they're all engaged. I'm like living out of my backpack.
But then I still feel like there's part of me too. I mean, I think just as society, just as human beings, because I mean, I look at them and there's aspects of their life that I do like. And like, oh my God, they have a house and a backyard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think no matter where you look or what you do, everybody's looking at you. You're looking at other people. But I think it's just sticking to yourself. But I think like me and you, taking the opportunities and being a little bit less fearless than everybody else gives us the upper hand.
Well, that's exactly what I felt like with this. I was like, I'm going to be sitting at home for 6 weeks. We're in lockdown in Melbourne for 6 weeks. Can't leave the house. No work, no nothing. And I'm also on no pay. Like, I don't get government relief. So I was like, I need to find something to do. And these conversations I've wanted to have, and just thought, you know, I might as well record it and see if I can make something of it. And even if I don't use it, and if there's shit and nobody wants to listen to us, then so what? I still got the information for myself, and I'm putting myself out there. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least I'm doing something. And
it will work.
Exactly what you said. Like, so many people are doing what you want to do who won't be as good as you just because they're doing it. And you're sitting like, exactly why. Okay, so I would love to know how you made the transition and when, I guess, because I don't even really remember kind of how you did it, but leaving the salon and opening your own. Like, did you go into just working like in your kitchen for a bit and then you're like, I want a salon? Did you always want a salon? How did that kind of happen for you? Or what happened for you?
See, I think back, and I think for the longest time, I always said I never wanted a salon. I didn't want, but I think that was in my 20s. I didn't want the responsibility of it.
That is exactly what I have always said.
So I've always said
no,
I didn't. Up until I was about 30, I probably
Yeah.
said I don't want a salon. No, I never want a salon. Because I ultimately wanted to pursue editorial and things like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, long story short, I came back, left our old salon for a year in 2013 to live in Thailand for a year.
Yes.
When I came back from Thailand, that's when the old salon had a sponsorship with ET Canada. And that's when I started going on their behalf.
Okay.
So I would go there twice a week.
And what did you do in Thailand? Were you just gallivanting, or were you doing hair? What
yeah,
were you
absolutely nothing.
Love it.
Nothing. I met a guy the year before, and he was going to Thailand.
Who's also named Brian?
Who's also named Brian.
I was saying it, and I'm like, I hope that's Brian who we're talking about. Remember this? I remember sitting in the back, like, color room, and that was before you went, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and you'd be like, I'm just gonna go. I'm going to Thailand with this guy. And we were like, what? I was probably like 18. I'm like, what the? Oh my God, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So you guys
he already
went,
had the ticket to Thailand. Yeah. So it was like, what do I do? Like, I dig this guy. So
oh my God.
Quit my job, sold all my shit, and away I went. We were gone for a year. We did nothing. We like worked random places, worked at beach bars, worked at like this weird cinema in Phnom Penh in Cambodia, and we just kind of were beach bums for a year.
Had you ever had another job besides hairdressing before that?
Yeah, I had a lot of jobs.
Oh. Cool.
Not like careers, but I mean like I worked at famous players. I worked at Tim Hortons.
That's how you got the cinema job in Thailand. Gotcha.
Yeah, I had experience.
Put that on the CV. I have. That's why you're so good on camera.
Popcorn making experience. Come on.
Do you know that that's my favorite food?
Popcorn?
Corn in general. Yeah.
Really?
I have popcorn like every day.
Do you? I just had a brand new popcorn last night that I've never tried before, and I'm obsessed.
What do you mean, like a brand?
Well, yeah, because like I went to see my grandma on the weekend, and she like gave me this bag of popcorn that she bought for me. Oh, and so me and B2 had it last night, and it was amazing.
Cool. My mom sent over a box recently. Sometimes they send me a bit of, welfare packages. It had, those Kernels flavor shakers that you put on your popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's like 30 flavors in the cupboard now. The whole area in the pantry for them. They're the best. They don't have them in Australia. It's like not a thing. Okay. Anyway, so you went to Thailand, you worked, you lived, you traveled, you did hair there a bit. Did you not? A little bit?
No.
Okay.
I tried a little bit.
I think it's something at least that is useful if you are traveling. Bring your scissors and you do a haircut in the hostel. And
I did bring my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reality is, when you're traveling Southeast Asia, the people who would get haircuts are also travelers, and they were broke. Like, we were the same. We were broke.
Totally. Yeah.
To get a haircut in town with a local, I got my haircut for $1. Oh. So, I mean, why am I going to pay me more than $1?
Yeah.
So it didn't really make sense.
Okay, fair enough. So you came back, then you went back to the salon that you were previously at.
Yes,
which was
and then started with ET Canada.
Amazing. And then maybe explain what you do for them, like how you do it and what you do.
Yeah. So with ET Canada, I just go every morning, meet with Cheryl and Sangeeta usually, because the boys are kind of left to their own vices to do their own hair. So go there in the morning, get them ready.
And so what time are you going in the morning?
It used to be earlier. Now it's kind of mid-afternoon because we try to shoot the show close to live. Yeah, I know. But morning time, 8:30, I'm still going to be late.
Love it. Love it.
So after being back from Thailand and going back to the salon, it only took me a year to be like, the reality is I went back to the old salon because I needed money immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
So I went back to the salon and just started making money, but it was probably about a year when I was like, what am I doing?
It's hard when you're already checked out, when you've already got this idea of I'm going to be this person. It's quite challenging to then kind of take a step back or have to do that, like understandably so. Like when you move, you don't realize like how much money it costs to move, and even when you have 100% to come back to, and I've been living in
because we had to move. We moved home
for years.
Yeah, but I would prefer to live that way also, because I want to see the world and do things. So we came back to the condo we're in now, but we came back to this, so we obviously had to start working immediately.
Yeah.
So it was just an easy thing, but you also feel like you've taken a step backwards.
Yeah.
So it's like I had left and just seen like an incredible part of the world, and all of a sudden I was back at the same salon.
I think that has always been my fear of like, I do want to move home eventually. Like, I think that's the thought, but I have this fear of I'm so different now to who I was, and I've had all this life experience, and I've traveled and moved and now made really long-term friendships here, that coming back, if I come back, which is what I'm yearning to do, is that going to actually make me happy once I'm back? Or am I going to feel like that? Like, oh, I'm back in my, bubble a bit. So I would love to know how you kind of broke free from that, I guess, and like now are in your own chapter. And
I think by leaving the salon.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have felt that way if I didn't go back to the old salon.
Yeah.
Because
it's going back into your life. So just inserting
it's going back to my old, like right back in. And I think regardless of, they were my friends, I don't discredit them being my friends. At that moment in time when we worked at that salon, they were my best friends. But when you leave somewhere, you quickly realize life gets in the way and you don't get to see these people every single day.
Well, I haven't talked to you in, I don't even know. Like we, DM and all of that, but it's true. You don't catch
you
up.
You get lost.
Yeah.
So I think as I grew up, my friendships changed. And although I cherish those friendships, I'm not as close with 98% of the people that I used to be with. So I think, especially when I left the salon and I joined ET Canada, my life changed again because I became quite friendly with Cheryl and Sangeeta and Alicia and wardrobe and Suzanne and makeup. So like I created
you get a whole new family,
which then led me to other friendships in a new family.
Totally.
So even though I'm back home, my life, even 7-8 years ago, was drastically different. Yeah. So I feel like I've evolved enough that I don't feel like I've taken any steps backwards.
So did you go from the salon right full time into ET? Like you didn't?
Yes.
You would go to another salon?
I decided to just leave the salon.
Own? Yeah.
No, I left the old salon and I wanted to pursue editorial and TV. And because growing up, that was my other passion. Like I fell into hair, but my other passion was pop culture. Yeah. I always loved pop culture. I loved Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place and like music. Yeah. My first love was Tina Turner. I went to my first Tina Turner concert in like 1986. I was 4 years old, but she was like my favorite.
Oh my
So
God.
pop culture at such a young age was my jam. Like, I loved it. So
Cool.
when ET Canada came into my life, and I had already now had this newfound passion for hair, and I was like, I can do
both.
like
Oh my
hair
God.
in a pop culture world.
Yeah.
I was like, this
That's the
is
goal.
my,
That's the
like, I'm
dream.
living my dream. This is my dream job. So doing TIFF, going to TIFF, and like working down on King Street and seeing all the celebs doing hair and being in it, like, I'm living my dream.
That is so effing cool.
It's a really cool life, and I'm very, very lucky.
Love it. What do you think, maybe because you do own your own salon now, so I'd love to dive into that and ask, like, one, how did you come up with the name? And two, how did you transition from, say, being not employed as a hairdresser and then working on a show, and then now you have a salon? How did you do that?
So yeah, I left the salon in 2016, February 2016. I left the salon and decided to just pursue this. I didn't know if I would ever go back to the salon. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I just pursued the ET Canada thing and all of that.
And is that enough?
Which I
like,
loved.
You don't have to answer this, but is that enough of an income doing that? Like, I think when I think about, say, shoot days and stuff, like, they are long, massive, big days. I know a shoot's not the same as doing hair for the TV show, but is that something that when you're going from being, you were a fully booked hairdresser behind the chair to then doing 2 hours of hair before a TV show, is that something that is financially doable, or do you have to have this backup where you are working still behind the chair?
Financially doable, yes. It was, the reality is, money-wise, to be honest, Crystal, in 1 year, I made probably the same amount of money I made at the salon, but I worked about 70% less.
Yeah, totally.
So ultimately what led me to opening a salon too was the fact that no, the actual work was not enough.
Yeah.
I was not content
yourself.
with that. Even it became, because I would do photo shoots with Cheryl, I would do commercials with Cheryl, I would do a TV show with Sangeeta, so other work was coming in. It wasn't just ET Canada at this point.
Totally.
But at the end of the day, going to set is just curling and styling hair all day, which I love. I love doing updos. I love styling.
Yeah.
But I also love cutting.
Yeah.
And I was no longer cutting hair.
Yeah.
And after about 1.5 years, I was having this like I'm doing hair and it's great, but I'm not
fulfilling
enough.
My full
I'm not
potential.
fulfilled. And you're also at this point, because I'm freelance, so anytime I'm on set, I am the only hairstylist. So I no longer have my friends from the old salon. So I'm not talking about hair. I'm not looking at what's the next class to take. I'm not keeping up on trends. But the work's coming in, so you don't feel like you're not in it.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden you look around and you're like, I might be inspiring somebody. And on set, they're like, oh my God, her hair's so beautiful. It's great, it's great, it's great. But who's inspiring me?
Yes.
And I was like, and not that my team does not, like, Cheryl and Sangeeta and everybody inspires me in that way. But I mean by hair. Who's inspiring me hair-wise? I
understand that.
And I started feeling like I need to be surrounded by other hairstylists.
Yeah.
So that's what ultimately kind of came full circle to opening a salon. As for the name, when I left the old salon, I started my social media, Brian Gone Rogue, because I was like going on my own, doing my own thing, going rogue and like breaking all the rules.
Do you know
so
that
when
I
it came time to open this?
I always think of this because I didn't know it said rogue and I thought it said rouge, like red. And I remember having a conversation with you in the salon being like, I don't get what's hair gone rouge or Brian gone rouge. Are you embarrassed? Like, I was thinking it was like your skin or something. I remember this conversation and then you were like, what? You were like, what do you mean? It's a rogue.
That's so
like,
funny.
oh, sorry.
That's too
But I
funny.
remember it like vividly, being so mortified that I was like, oh, rogue. Sorry. Oh, sorry, keep going. So you took it from your Instagram name into your salon.
So
right?
yeah, when I left the salon, and so then within 2 years, I mean, I don't have a ton of followers, but I was trying to get my name out there as Brian Gone Rogue.
Yeah.
So when the salon came around, Hair Gone Rogue just seemed like the right thing to do, because I also, in my head, and I'm still trying to get there because we're still quite new and it's been a bumpy ride with COVID and everything, still being a new salon. So Hair Gone Rogue, ultimately I wanted to be, because when I was doing freelance, I was like, well, then maybe I'll just rent a chair, or I'll like cut hair, just renting a chair once. But nobody would rent me a chair for a day or 2 days. Working freelance, I couldn't commit to a week.
This is incredible.
I couldn't commit to a week because 1 week I would be working 4 or 5 days. The next week I would be working no days. I couldn't find a salon that would let me come and go as I please, obviously.
Interesting. I
For
wonder
business
why that
reasons,
is.
I get it.
Why?
Because people need to cover their asses. Rent is expensive in cities like Toronto. So
it's
you
like,
can't just have a chair that maybe somebody will come in and rent.
Yes. Okay. I get
So when I opened Hair Gone
me,
Rogue, I will,
No, go. I was saying, to me, thinking about it, like, I'm obviously not a business owner and all these things, and I'm like, wouldn't that just be an advantage? You have someone coming in as they please, they bring their own products, say, and they just pay you. But I didn't think about it that way.
Because barbershops do it. Barbershops have like guest artists come in and cut hair for the day.
So it's like, you need to be a salon owner who has a full staff and then has a spare chair that you use for processing, or potentially a random person, like, you know, a chair rental can come.
So when I opened Hair Gone Rogue, that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted to have like a brothel of hairstylists.
Sexy.
I wanted to have a place like Hair Gone Rogue. I wanted to have a place for people like me who might also be in the industry, but need a hub to come and rent for a day. So I wanted to have a place like, you want to rent a chair for a day? Yeah. Come on Saturday, rent this chair. Oh, we have a makeup art, especially for makeup artists that maybe have a clientele or something, but are also freelance. It's hard to be a makeup artist in a store or location, like most are freelance. So it was like, I wanted to have a hub, not just of people who want to work behind the chair, but people who freelance, people who do things, and just have ultimately, maybe, I don't want to say an agency, but have a place where my freelance is getting so big where I'd be like, I can't come, but I'm gonna send Amber. I can't come, but I'm gonna send Crystal. I can't come, but and just have people doing what I do and all like feeding off each other's energy and creativity.
Is that what you want to be doing?
Yes.
Isn't it amazing how when you truly love something, or when you are so passionate, it does give you that like overflowing, bubbling over the edge feeling? Like, it's
orgasmic.
amazing.
When I start talking about it, I get this like you said earlier, skin crawling, like out of breath, like talking more, like I'm getting to the climax of this story and it's amazing.
And I'm like, does anybody else feel that way about what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sometimes.
Shit, what I'm talking
about. Sometimes.
Oh. So how do you think that you're able then to have a salon that does chair rental in such a non-structured way and be successful? Like, do you have other stylists who do work for you full-time, or do you rent like, how are you covering your ass, I guess, like those other people maybe couldn't for you?
By working my ass off. So the real is we're open 2 years ago this month.
Okay, amazing.
So,
and it's a salon space, right, that you rent?
It's a salon space. Yep. It's on the second floor on Yonge Street, like Yonge and Eglinton neighborhood, which is a really nice area in Toronto. Location wise, we picked it because it's central. It's not east nor west. Yonge Street is the middle of Toronto. Eglinton is a little more north, but it's only one subway up from downtown, right off the highway. So, I mean, I thought it would just be somewhere everybody could just gather. Also not too far from my old salon. So even though it had been 2 years, I thought, hey, I'm not too far. If people were
willing to go there,
look over here.
With it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a bumpy road. Somebody said to me, when you open the salon, make sure you have enough money to sustain yourself for 2 years, because it takes 2 years to get like vroom vrooming.
That's a lot of money to save.
Mm-hmm. So we opened, my business partner Bobby and bestie Bobby, we opened 20, 40, $60,000 in debt.
Oh my God. Wow.
Because like most things in my life, like leaving the salon for ET Canada, like leaving my life at 30 to like go to Southeast Asia with some guy I just met 3 months earlier, or like moving to Vancouver for a year, doing all the things, like everything in my life, I was like, well, here we go.
Now
Open
or
the doors.
never.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. You
and
trust
I had
yourself.
always said to myself, Heather, so I said to you earlier that up until 30, I was like, no salon, no salon. And then I was like, maybe a salon, maybe a salon. Okay, like if I don't have a salon by 35, then I'm gonna like do something else. And I actually opened the salon in my 35th like year.
Oh
So
my
like
gosh,
it all,
amazing.
it's weird.
And so do you say you have a business partner?
Yeah, so I have a business partner in bestie, Bobby, who was working at Mac at the time.
Yeah.
And she was manager and running a Mac store. So aside from being my best friend, who doesn't want to work with their best friend all the time, I knew she was also looking for maybe a career change. So I said to her, like, do you want to open this up? And before I could even finish saying it, she was like, yes, let's do it. And I was like, oh, okay, amazing. Like, do you want to go ask your husband or like talk to your husband about it or make sure? And she's like, nope, doing it. We're doing it. I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, okay.
But
And
that's the best thing when somebody
kid you
also
not,
believes in you and like
yeah,
trusts to
a
do
week
it with
later,
you and you're both willing.
A week later, we went on the government website and we like registered Hair Gone Rogue as a business. And then we did nothing for a whole year. We just sat on it, but we were like, we register our business. And I look at Bobby and like, we're registered. And I'm like, what do we do now? And she's like, we wait for the phone to ring.
And so how did it change? How did the phone ring? Or how did, you know?
So that was, I want to say that was summer 2017. But Bobby was getting married in January.
Okay.
So this was probably August 2017. Bobby was getting married in January. And we were kind of like, you know what, let's just focus on the wedding. Let's get through the wedding and we'll start planning the salon in the new year. So at her wedding, we were telling everybody like, yeah, we're going to open a salon. And then everybody was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And so we did, like 5 months later.
I think sometimes you have to put it out there to be accountable. Like that's literally how I felt with you with this. Last week, I was like, I was umming and ahhing and I've had the idea, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I literally have to ask Brian what day and what time we can do it, because otherwise I'm going to push it to next week and I'm not going to do it. And now that I've said it to someone, I had to do it. So because you and her had said it and put it out there, I think because we're creative people, we can also be great procrastinators. Oh my because God. We can fill our minds and our heads with a gazillion other things. Yeah. So I can be like, later. Later. And even talking to you right now. 10 years later. 10 years later. Love it. What do you think was the biggest challenge of starting your own business? Or biggest regret or biggest mistake, biggest lesson? Like,
I think we did it really fast. I don't have any regrets. So going back to the having enough money to sustain yourself for 2 years, we obviously did not do that. We just opened the doors. So
you had to take a loan out?
Yeah. And at the time when we opened the doors, it was just me and Bobby was not a hairstylist.
Yeah.
So Bobby was the makeup artist on staff, but Bobby having come from the Mac background in business, Bobby knew all the business side of everything. So she was is
that in terms of, say, understanding the computer systems or all of that?
Yes.
Like that was her kind of forte, the booking system, how to choose what booking
system. And I had met
before
Bobby at the old salon. That's how Bobby and I met. So she also had like a receptionist background, knew the computer systems. Yes. So she knew everything that I knew only maybe 10% of. She knew how to break down everything for our accountant. She knew how to put in, like, she knew a lot.
And how did you choose an accountant? Like, is it an accountant that, say, specializes in hairdressing? Or like, how do you, is that an accountant you've always used? What did you?
And this is kind of, again, with the luck thing.
Love it.
It's her husband's, one of her husband's best friend's dad. who is an accountant, and he's a great guy. Like we really love him, honestly, and he does a bunch of businesses. So again, we just kind of got lucky with that. Everything becomes word of mouth. You see, when you start opening a business, how many people know people you didn't know knew people. So like our lawyer, for example, I ended up getting through a client and a friend. Okay. The accountant came from Bobby's husband's friend's dad. So like,
and I guess
you start seeing how it's all.
Yeah. You don't think that you need those things.
Help,
Why
Crystal.
do I need
people
a lawyer?
want to help.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, even with
people
this,
are
just
excited.
Graphics, like I was like, I am the least techie person of all time. Like, and my graphics and things, I have these ideas and I literally like have them scribbled on a piece of paper in here. Like of what my graphic designs were going to be. And I'm like, who the hell is going to make this for me? Because I am a stick person.
You can do it. And this is what, so the reason I sent you some of those apps the other day, I sent Crystal a couple apps because I was like, the stuff we put on our salon or whatever isn't amazing. I do it myself. But as artists and as struggling artists sometimes,
you have to do it.
We don't have a shit ton of money. So you got to do what you got to do. And I will tell you something. One of the lines that we carry in the salon is called R&Co.
Yes.
And it stands for Rogue and Company, which goes so well with Hair Gone Rogue.
Yes.
So the labels on R&Co are actually their own photos. Back when they were trying to launch the line in order to save money on graphics and everything, they took their own photos and used their own graphics for.
And I love their
all
packaging.
the products.
It's actually very eye-catching.
It's amazing. So it also makes me feel like I can do this. And the more I do this, the more I'll get better at it. And there's also this sense of, and then this one time somebody sent a DM and they were like, oh my God, I love your graphics. And I was like, oh my God, I made it myself.
It's so funny.
So you get better. And again, it's something as creative people, it's fun to do. I enjoy it because like the placement and the color schemes of everything becomes very obsessive.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I will keep going on those little graphics then. I think that's what's intimidating though, because I'm not great at it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to put this half out. I'm very all or nothing. Like I cannot do something that I don't feel like is 100% kind of, which sometimes I think is an issue as well. Like you need to just do it. Like, is this audio going to be the best it's going to be compared to a year from now? If I have the podcast still. Maybe.
I know, but Crystal, everybody starts somewhere and everybody has a history. Look back at Kim Kardashian. Do you think she wants those red carpet photos when she was just Paris Hilton's assistant floating around the internet before she had any of the work done? Probably not. But everybody starts somewhere.
I know.
So like I said to you, when we're doing the 30th anniversary of this podcast, we can look back and be like, oh my God, look at your disgusting graphics.
That you told me to do myself. You were trying to sabotage me.
Everybody starts somewhere. So I think but yes, you have to be, I get what you mean. Also but you must feel that way about hair color every day. Crystal, I've been doing it for 17 years and haircuts still walk out the door that I'm not 100% okay with because we're artists. I'm never going to be 100% okay with it. Haircuts walk out the door when I get to like 96% okay with it. I'm like, okay,
that's good.
That's good.
That one little piece.
Or else they're going to be here all day long.
Yeah. But I think that is what separates us, is the attention to detail and the absolute care factor. You know, a lot of people don't give a shit that haircut walks out and is crooked. Whereas you and I had a client that I did recently and it was a color correction. There was nothing at all I could have done better. And I went around the entire salon and I was like, oh my God, to every one of my like colleagues, what did I do wrong? What could I have done? This, and this. Nothing. It's hair, it's color. Like that's what happens. But I like lost sleep for 2 days over it because the margin of pink was a little different on the roots than the ends. And I went crazy over it. Whereas other people would go home and not even think twice about it. It's hard.
We're so alike. I feel the same. Like a haircut or hair color can ruin my mood or my day. Like 100%. It really can. And like you said, then I go home, I'm thinking about it all night. I'm not talking to B2 because he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. Because I'm not going to be like, well, today I
correction.
used a 9-1 when I probably should have used an 8-1, and now she has a little bit of like, and he won't get that. So it's
And she's
just,
gonna
but
put
it
a bad
triggers into
review
other
up.
parts of life. Being
I
a
know.
hairstylist, you don't leave it at the door and go home for the night. You
And
actually
people
care about
don't-
people's hair, and you want to
Yes.
make people happy. But then it's also our own insanity, because what you're talking about what could I have done differently, and the client probably doesn't see what you see. But we're like,
Yes, it's so hard, but it's good. I'd rather be me than anyone, really.
yeah. Well,
I'd
'cause it means you
rather
still the
have that
passion
care
for it.
factor.
I
Oh
feel
my
like the
God, yeah.
hairstylist who's letting it just walk out the door, you have no passion then.
Yeah.
You have no passion. You're doing it for the money. You're doing it for, but I mean, there's other things you could do for probably better money. So go do that. I used to hate that. Well, no, but like when there were stylists in there that would do that or didn't really care, it was like, you're wasting a chair for somebody like me or somebody like you.
Yes.
Like, if this is your attitude, then go flip burgers.
And so how many people do you have, back to your salon for a sec, how many people do you have working for you now?
So when we opened, it was
staff,
just
right?
Bobby and I, and it was just it was me and Bobby, and we also hired because we have a little private room in the back for lashes and microblading and permanent makeup, and
which is such
blah,
a
blah,
huge
blah.
thing now.
Totally. So Bobby, one of our good friends, Kim, she joined the team right away, and she is our lash and brow technician. So the three of us opened, and it was probably us for 4 months, and then we had our first chair renter. Our first chair renter came. She was just a colorist. She was really great. She had just moved from Vancouver, but she had a huge following, so she was really busy. So she was with us for about 6 or 8 months. And
do
then
they
she
just
left
pay
to
you
go.
like a flat rate? Like when you get someone in, do they just pay you like a certain amount per month or per week?
Yeah.
And that's it.
So
no
they
matter
literally
how
rent
busy
that
they
chair.
are or not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
their chair. She got a key, and she could come and go as she pleased. We're closed Sunday, Monday, but she had the option to work Sunday, Monday if she wanted to. Like, she had a key. And there's different levels with that too, Crystal. So it's like, when somebody asks us what we charge for a chair rental, it's like, are you just renting the chair? Because some chair renters use their own color, use their own products, use everything. So if that you just want the chair, then it's this price. If you want the chair and use of the products, then it's this. If you want the chair,
and how do
use
you
of the products
determine that?
and use of the color, it's this.
Do you like you
really
saying
difficult.
you're not the business person, you know, your words that Bobby kind of was that. Is she the person who like gets the calculator and breaks it all down and figures out what's going to be profitable? Or have you learned to do that as you've dived in?
I'm getting better at it. Putting a price on anything as an artist is incredibly difficult. As you know, it has taken me, again, 17 years in, and I still want to be like undercharge people because it's our work. As an artist, I look at my work and I'm like, how do I put a value on that? Like, I can't, like, I just can't. I can't sometimes. So when I see bills going like, because they've gotten color and a cut and extensions and new extensions, so they're like, oh, and somebody's bill is close to $2,000. I'm like, but Bobby always says to me, if they couldn't afford it, they wouldn't be here.
Yes, and
She's
if
like,
they can
just
afford
because
it
it's
and you're not going to charge, they're going to go somewhere else.
100%. But it's hard to put a price on your own work. So Bobby often takes the lead on that because I struggle to be like, it's this and that.
Yeah, I think it's quite important then to have a business partner and somebody. But I also think it's important for people listening, because I know my girlfriends, when I was pitching my ideas of what I was going to talk about and things like that, I was like, you know, I want to know, like, how do you do the finances and the account? Did you get an accountant? They're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. Like, you feel like because you're a hairdresser and you're not an accountant and you're not a lawyer and you don't have this.
Because that's the joke, right? Like, here, can you add this, this, and this? No, I'm a hairdresser.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all I do all day is numbers, chemistry,
count numbers.
So it's like you get this intimidation factor, like, oh my God, I couldn't work for myself because I don't understand how to do those things. But you're saying you have a business, you work on a massive TV show and all these things, and you fully don't get it, but you figure it out as you go, and you have people around you to help you.
Have people around you. I would recommend an accountant to anybody, only because when it comes to a business, I mean, there's business taxes, there's like, there's a whole world. It was really, really eye-opening. You don't think opening a business is going to be easy, but it was really, really fucking hard. It was really hard. There was a lot of loopholes. There's things you don't know. We like went and got our business license. We went and got our this, and then like we're days from opening, and they're like, well, do you have your municipality license with this, and this? And it's like, what is that? I've never even heard of that. Nobody told me about that. Well, you need that to open. And I'm like, well, we open in 3 days. Well, it takes a week to get it. Booked. And I'm like, what? Like, what? And it was just like, you were always just... But
I think something that happens and you learn, whether it's opening a business or being in a effing pandemic with the airports closed and no income, I always think about it like that seems so daunting and so overwhelming to me thinking about that. But I'm in this pandemic that if I was explained about, I would be very the same way. But you just make it work because it's your life. It's your reality right now that you don't have an alternative. So you just... Yeah. It just happens and you're living through it. But if I was listening to somebody else explaining it, I'd be like, oh my God, that sounds like crazy. But because it's you
100%,
and it's your life,
and you have to.
Yeah, you have no choice. Yeah. You have to do it.
We sat in a lot of meetings where I would just be like, and then we'd leave and I'd turn to Bobby and be like, okay, what? Because it's just a lot. There's a lot of information coming at you and a lot of stuff. But I mean, yeah, you're right. You sit there and you listen and you learn, because at this point we already had the space rented. We were doing renos. So like, we got to do what we got to do. But an accountant, I think, saves your ass. It doesn't get you into trouble. They do your taxes for you. They take everything on. It just saves your ass. And I think as an owner who's also working in the salon, also working as the only hairstylist, having a business partner, I don't know how somebody would do this on their own. Yeah. I would have drowned. And so you're
still working in the salon and working on ET. You're still doing both, right?
Yes. So that's what became hard about.
Yes, you go.
There was a ton of hours because Bobby and I also worked on another TV show. So the issue with income and money has literally been a roller coaster since we opened, because we opened for 1 year. 1 year? We opened for 1 year, and then Bobby and I took on a job working on a new show called Family Home Overhaul on HGTV Canada with Cheryl Hickey. So I'm doing the hair, Bobby's doing the makeup for this.
How amazing that you both
let's
get
sign up
to
for
do
this
that.
t-shirt or for this TV show. That's amazing. Like, that'll be great. Except we're still the only staff at the salon. So now we're working on this TV show 3-4 days a week, and nobody's at the salon. So what were we thinking?
And you're still having to pay rent there.
Yes. So we were working 7 days a week, because any day we weren't on set, we had to be at the salon. Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays at 3 a.m. I was doing whatever I had to do to take my clients, because we're a year in now. So we have a bit of a clientele going. You need to be
generating, revenue as well.
So I'm not going to lie. That was probably a mistake for us to do. Show was so much fun. I mean, we had a blast. But when you own a salon, that was with no staff. You're used to living by the seat of your pants and being like, oh my God, amazing. I'm going to move to
let's do it. And then you have this little thing. It's like a baby. I can't be out all night partying because I have a baby. But you have something that you have to still be able to provide for.
Exactly. So we took on this TV show and we lost a bit of the clientele. We had just started to build up in a year.
Hard.
So that was really hard. And then we had just started going again, and then COVID. We were only...
And you were
finished. We wrapped the show in January.
Wow. And you were forced
So we went back full time in the salon in February, and we closed in March. So I mean... Crazy. We're lucky that people were still...
Now, like ET still occurring during COVID? Because the TV shows are still happening? No.
Yes, they are still happening, yes. Okay. But all hosts are shooting from their home, and they're doing their own hair and makeup, and they have their own setup.
Cool. Interesting. So that's a huge change of pace for you, from going from being on a TV show, being on set, owning your own salon, doing all of this, to completely nothing.
It was... And yeah, especially coming off the TV show and doing the salon. So I literally went from working 7 days, 12 to 16-hour days, if not longer, to nothing. And it was great for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I started going crazy. Never in my life have I had panic attacks before. And there were nights I was on the balcony, like I just couldn't get enough air in my system because
you
it
were
all just shut down.
overwhelmed. How am I going to come out of it? Or because you were just overwhelmed with what to do with yourself?
I think being overwhelmed, when you're go like that, I love it. When I first started at the old salon, I worked for 4 years straight without taking a vacation. And I didn't feel like I needed to, because also, Crystal, what you'll understand, when you do what you love, you don't often feel overworked, because I love what I do. So
I don't need a holiday.
When somebody was like, what? It's been 4 years and I haven't taken a vacation? Like, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't click in. So I think when I'm working like that, when I'm on set and I'm at the salon, it's not work, it's work, but it's my passion. I love it. Yeah. So I'm going to set and I'm playing with hair all day. I'm going to salon and I'm playing with hair all day.
And so when that's
I love it, and then it just taken away from you, and you have nothing, and I'm just supposed to sit here. And it's not just that your passion and your work has been taken away from you, your family, your friends, your everything was taken away from you. So like everybody, it was just like, whoa. And I had time to sit and think. And I think it was the first time I had time to sit and think. And a lot has happened in the last 2 years that I think I just actually had time to process. And there was a really dark month, probably in the middle of COVID, that was a little crazy and weird. And I felt off, but I came out the other side like so much happier and so much better. Because you have to put in the work. You can't just sit at home and hope that your emotions are going to get better. I put in the work. I listened to my friends. I wanted to like figure out what friendships, what relationships I wanted. And I also realized I love what I do, but I don't want to go back to work that hard. Because there was relationships, people in my own family that I reconnected with that I'm like, I haven't been around. I just work, which I love. Yeah. Again, I love, but I just work.
And you have to create that foundundation to be able to have
You have to create, because you look around, I look around and like, my niece is 4 or 5 years old. And I'm like, what? Like I haven't been I don't. Yeah. And that's also not okay. You should be able, I think balance is important. You can love what you do and you can work hard and you can work every day, but you need to take the time to appreciate things, which I also know you do and love. And that's also why I think we connect on so many levels, is because I know you know the value of family. And I respect that and I appreciate that in you. So I think we have so many similarities, which was also made me so excited about this conversation, is because I think we understand each other on a different level.
Yeah. And I was like, I can have somebody like Brian on, and that I haven't sat on the phone with in 5 years, and that I haven't seen, like when have we ever had a phone call? Never. But I know
I don't think ever, even all the times we knew each other, because we saw each other so much.
But it's just, you're just that easy person, and you can get along and talk shit and be
That's
open.
so funny. That's what I said to B too. When I told him that you had asked me to do this, I'm like, I'm so excited. I said, because I just feel like Crystal's the kind of person I can just open up with and tell her like honest shit. Like, that's so funny nice. You said that.
That's how I feel about you. I was like, I just need someone that I can just... And I admire how you've gone from the salon and gone on to working in TV shows and all these things. And I think I'm really trying to find my niche, that I've never been the most creative person. Like, through high school and all these things, like art was never my forte, but I really wanted to be a good painter, Right. And I never had a plan B besides hairdressing. And I am good at it, but I'm not the person who's thinking of these crazy avant-garde photo shoots or, coming up with my own curriculum. Like I'm like, how am I going to make it? I felt very
It's also hard to be that person, Crystal, when you're working.
Yes.
Like and when you're working exactly your day to day, it's hard to, again, with the balance, to try and find balance, to take a minute to have your own creativity, because we're also artists who have a limit. you're an artist and you might have an imagination that's out to here, but your client brings you a photo.
Yeah.
So your creativity is only out to here because we're limited. So when it's like when people come in or have virgin hair, or they're like, do whatever you want. It's like, what? Like, oh my God, I'm having a hot flash.
That's sweaty.
Because we're so limited at what we do. So I think trying to find the time to sit and be like, put together a collection, put together, like I have so many ideas, but it's just literally scribbles because I can't.
I showed you my doodles.
It's hard to do, but you're also chasing the success because you're happy for that.
And I want to be big. I want to be on the stage at the international hair shows and saying it, but I don't have the curriculum that say Candy Shaw's thought of. How am I going to think of that? She's already thought of it. Well, this has already been made. Like, what the fuck am I going to create? And now
what I think you don't see is that everybody has a team.
Yeah.
I think you need to surround yourself with the team.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have people. And that's what I'm learning right now, and that's what I'm going to try and do. Right now, the only other person we have on staff is Rena.
I wanted to do a double whammy situation, and we will. But I was like,
so excited to be working with Rena. Like, I'm so excited because she also is on our level for creativity and passion.
I love Rena.
So
goosebumps
when
again.
Rena joined the team, I was so excited. But I also know we only have Rena for a limited amount of time because she's going to be with her husband, who I think is great and wonderful, but I'm super annoyed with for stealing her away. But it's amazing.
But isn't that the really beautiful thing? And the main thing that I love about this industry is, one, the connection I get with clients and those people, but the people I get to work with. My 90% of my friend group, or maybe 80%, is hairdressers and people that I've worked with. And I've worked in these massive monster salons. Like the salon I'm at now is probably the smallest salon that I've ever worked in. And there's maybe 10 of us. And before that, we were working at a 150 employee salon.
Same.
Excuse
the
me.
Salon I own is only 8 chairs. So like,
it's crazy
small.
but I appreciate
But during
so
these
much.
times, that's the best salon to have.
You need the little groups, but I feel grateful for the connections that I've been able to make and the friendships that I've made through my journey through different salons. And I've worked at a lot of salons, same brand, but I've worked, say the brand I work for has 5 locations. I've worked in all 5 locations. So I've made friends at all of that. And same with where we came from, like it being that way, I think is opened my eyes to being like, I can do this, and I'm going to do it where they're not willing to, or don't want to, or don't think they can. I'm just going to do it. And ask the questions.
And you will do it because you want to do it. And because you have such a positive outlook. Again, when I say that luck has been on my side, at the end of the day, I am a very positive person. I always try and look on the good side of life. And I think more times than not, that carries you further in life because it's important. I think putting out good energy and putting out good vibes, like you said with your clients. And I also used to say to my students, when I decided to do hair, it's because I wanted to change the world. And I remember one student saying to me, "You're going to change the world by being a hairstylist." And I'm like,
"You're going to fail your class, Mike."
And you're going to fail, you little fucker.
You will not be going into the floors of new talent.
Because if I send somebody out that door glowing, they are going to radiate that energy and that positivity onto so many people. And in my world, I am changing the world a little bit by putting out positive vibes and happy people.
You being in the room makes people happy. Do you know what I mean? You make people's day by entering the room.
100%.
Like, that's the energy that you have, and that's why you're able to be successful also. Do you miss educating?
I think that's what, in all the news, I do, hold on, we're getting a lot of new clients these days too, and a lot of people are saying what they love the most is the energy in the salon. Because it's important for me to connect with people. It's important for me to not just be a hairstylist. I've had bosses before who do a 5-minute haircut and pass everything else, shampoos somebody else, blow dry somebody else. You're paying for me and my time. Yeah, sometimes I need help. Sometimes I might need help, but like, you're connecting with me. Like, I want the relationship. I don't want to just be that. So I think it's important to be positive and keep people going.
I was just going to ask you about education, because to me, that's where I see myself going. I love to teach. I love to educate. I think I'm actually good at it. And I'm, okay to say that. Like, I'm good at conveying that knowledge and making sure that that person has that aha moment. And I love that. That's what I want to be doing. And that's why I want to be having these conversations, to be like, how did you become this or that? Or how did you become an international educator, or how, whatever. So do you miss educating? Because that was a big part of your kind of launch, and meeting you and all these things was.
Yeah.
Miss that? Would you do that again?
I do miss educating. I miss, I just miss you teaching the next generation. There's something so fulfilling about it. Seeing people graduate, seeing how excited people are, seeing people, I mean, we worked together a little bit, but I think we connected more on a personal level than, because you went into color and you like took off with
you
color.
Weren't really a great educator.
And I send you messages even before all this. I've been sending you messages about how proud I am of you and how amazing it is. And I maybe had like a 0.5% in all of this happening for you, but it's just so exciting to see
people,
somebody, because I was also that to somebody.
Yeah.
I look back on, her name is Dominica. I look back on Dominica, who owned the first salon I ever worked at, and had zero hair experience. I went in for an interview, and I'm sitting with the manager on this couch, and the salon's called Divas and Associates.
Oh my God.
This beautiful salon, and I'm sitting there, and the owner's standing there cutting hair, and I'm interviewing with the manager. I must have been 17, 18. How old was I? Maybe 19. Anyways, and the owner is like, says to the manager, does he have any hair experience? And the manager says, no. And the owner's like, but he's so cute. Just give him the job. So I started sweeping hair just Fridays, Saturdays. And
love it.
That's actually how it all started.
People are willing to have you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you can teach exactly what you said. You can teach a monkey to cut, and you can teach people the technique, but you can't teach the energy and the personality. And I think that is where we have a major life.
And that's the part of teaching that I don't like. When you have a student who is like, not that I don't like it, but it's harder when you have somebody like yourself who has a passion, and you can see it. Like, you can see it in people. You will look at somebody and be like, they're going to be somebody. They're going to take this to the next level. So
amazing. Okay, well, looking at wrapping up in a different way than we normally do. I've been waiting to use that one. Is there anything else that you like, any last advice or anything that you think you wish you knew? Like, what do you wish someone told you before you went on your own or started your own,
Well, not what I wish, but how about what I will tell you for your future and everything?
Look, I get a rash. You know what? I wish I wore a turtleneck, because I get this uncomfortable rash. Stop, and I sat down and I was like, oh shit, I should have put a high neck on. I get this like uncomfortable rat all the time. It's so mortifying. Anyway. Yeah, just talk about it. Okay, go ahead, talk about me.
I'm very proud of you. I want you to know that I am. I want it, now that I'm actually looking at you, I want to tell you how proud I am of you. And you're really killing it. And don't stress about the future. Put out there what you want to happen. But Crystal, I feel like because we're so alike in so many ways, you're going to get there. Good things are going to happen just because of who you are. You put out good vibes and you put out good energy, and good things happen to those people. So don't stop working hard, but don't stress so much about who or where or when it's going to happen. I didn't have my salon until I was 35, 36. I didn't start ET Canada until I was well into my 30s. Like sometimes it happens at different levels for different people.
Yeah.
So
there's no failure in being this age and not being an international
Had I got the
artist.
ET job at 23 years old, maybe I wouldn't have appreciated it. Maybe I would have pissed that away. And 100%. Everything will come to you, like everything will unfold as it should. Totally. So keep working hard, but don't stress about when it's going to happen. As long as you keep working hard and doing what you're doing, I know you're going to succeed.
So amazing. Thank you. Well, on this note, I would like to open a bottle of champagne. Yes! I'm going to text you and be like, get a bottle, because I'm like, this isn't going to be as fun for you because we can't have it. But we are going to cheers to getting through the positive, coming out the other side of the COVID situation, because I'm still in it. And that last week that I had was shit, and I felt shit, and I know that you felt like that. And I think that it's a really nice thing for people to hear that even the people like us who, you know, are normally switched on and positive felt shit. Yep. And I'm making something of it. And even if this doesn't do anything, I just wanted to have these conversations and dig myself out of this hole.
It's okay to feel shitty.
Yes. But when you're not used to it.
But allow yourself to feel all the feels, because feeling those lows and that shittiness is it's all part of life. It's all part of life. Totally. So make sure you feel it all. Wow. Okay.
So this is just the cheap liquor-led Prosecco. Next time we'll have the Dom Perignon. Woohoo! Look at my rash. Dead. All right. Thank you so much for chatting with us and giving,
Thank you.
I've loved chatting with you.
I love chatting with you.